Hey, residents of MeepleTown, today we are starting our top 50 game list.
Games, baby.
We're going to be looking at our number 50 through 41, and this is our 2020 version
Fired
of
up,
this.
baby.
Yeah, we got some big changes. Not going to chest bump you. Nope, that's weird. That's like a whale, a beached whale coming at me.
Well, you just left me hanging on the chest bump.
Anyway, we're going to be looking at our 50 through 41 and talking about some of our changes, because we've got some big changes on our list. You're going to see that right off the bat.
Maybe we do.
Ready to jump into this thing?
Yep.
All right. My number 50 is we'll start off with the Stefan Feld game. How about that?
Whoa.
Stefan Feld game that came out in 2018. That is Forum Trajanum.
Number 50?
Number 50. Is that too low? Too high?
It's too low. It's a little higher on my list.
Okay, all right.
On the better list.
So Forum Trajanum has some classic Feld feel to it, which is something that I really like. But you have your boards and you have these little tiles on there. Your citizens. You're going to pull those off. And you're going to choose between two tiles that you have. Now this is based, I'm not going to go into all the rules. Basically, you flip cards over, you pick the column and row that those are in, take some tiles away, and you're going to choose which ones you're going to use for the different resources that you're going to gain or different special abilities that you could potentially gain.
Someone could use yours.
Yeah, they could use yours. And the ones that go in your discard pile go out onto another board, and everything's going to be eventually giving you different points, different ways to get points. And I think this one's a lot of fun. This came out the same year as Carpe Diem, which I think is a really fun game too, but this one gets the nod from me for his game that came out that year.
I don't want to talk about this too much, but this was just way better than Carpe Diem for me. I know a lot of people are going to disagree, but this is a superior game. I'm glad that you thought so too.
All right, that is my number 50, not Carpe Diem.
Whoa.
Number 50 is Forum Trajanum.
All right, so my number 50 is my biggest drop from last year. Last year, this game was my number... Oh, what was it? What? Where in the world? Oh, that's right. I'm looking at the wrong thing, MeepleTown. Oh, Dean, do you want to edit this part out, or you just want to listen to me waller?
It's up to you.
No, I don't care. That's what I thought. This was number 6 last year, and it's number 50 this year.
That's a crazy
drop. But Dean and I were talking about this, y'all. The top 50 is great games.
Yeah.
Right? So, we're talking about top 50, our favorites of all time. So even though it drops, it doesn't mean that I don't think the game's good. I think the game's really good. It's just dropped for me. And that is Scythe by Jamie Stegmaier. Yeah, what do you think about that, baby? It's probably way higher on
It is
your
deserving.
list.
Yeah, it is. It's deserving to be in the top 50 for sure. I just don't agree with the placement. Yeah, for me, I mean, you'll see it higher on my list, but this is just a really fun game. The last time I played this actually was with you as a 3-player game, and I was reminded how much I really enjoyed it.
And I lost, so it dropped from 6 to 50.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's not true. But, I mean... Inside, you have, you're going on the board, you're getting resources. My favorite probably mechanic in that is the way the action selection works, where unless you have the special race, or not race, whatever they are, you cannot use the same action that you used last turn. So you got to really kind of do some forward thinking and planning and stuff like that in the game, which is kind of cool. But the last time I played the game, y'all, it just fell a little flatter than it used to. Like, it used to just give me all the feels and I'd get really hype on it. But I remember playing, and I looked at my wife and we just said, you know what, this isn't just... I think other games have just surpassed it for us. I just think that we've played more games that we just like better. I don't know. Maybe just with time it's fallen a little flat. I know this is probably number 1 for a lot of people out there. Yeah. But it's still a really great game. I still really enjoy it. I recommend it, but it's just fell a little bit for me.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely shines at a higher player count too, which is this time in the world it's really difficult to do that. But we started the Rise of Fenris campaign about a year ago, played 1 game, and that was it. Not because we didn't like it, but we just didn't find the time. That's right. So does that mean you're out since this game has dropped down on your list? You didn't do that?
Yeah. Yep, I'm out.
Oh, wow.
I'm not playing anymore.
All right. Scythe, number 50. Yeah, that does seem low, but... It's still in your top 50.
50 is that's big time.
Yeah, these are good games.
Yeah.
All right, my number 49 is a game by Marca and Inca and Marcus Brand. There we go. And I really enjoy their games, the ones that I've played, especially
I think this is another one. I interrupted you.
That it's low.
To say that I think this is hot should be a little higher.
Yeah, I've not played this enough. This is Raja of the Ganges.
That's what I thought it was.
It is a dice placement game. It's got Dennis Lohausen art, which is also really really good stuff. But in this game, you are taking your dice and you're placing workers, and those workers indicate how you're going to manipulate the dice, put them in different places, and use them for the different actions. I really like that. And I also like the race mechanism of this game.
I like the race mechanism a lot.
Yeah, so you start off on one side, you have pieces on two different sides, and when those pieces meet, then you're going to be declared the winner. And I enjoy that. I don't know if I have seen that in other games, but the timing of that, because one track moves quite a bit faster, the one on top moves a lot faster than the one on the bottom. Mm-hmm. So the timing of when you want to start moving that one, because the bottom track is also your money that you get, and so you're spending that along with moving it up. So
that track is.
Yeah, your bottom track.
No, it's on the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes down through the bottom. Starts off on the left side, goes on through the bottom.
It starts on this side and goes around like this.
I'm going to look for pictures right now.
Look, it's all right, MeepleTown. I know. I've played this game a million times. I think when he was playing, it starts right here.
Oh, maybe I was sitting on the other side of the board.
He was sitting on the other side of the board.
That might be. Anyway, I have only sat on that side of the board when I've played this game. But regardless, I really enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun.
Boom.
And I was still right based on where I was sitting.
Okay, there's more that I want to say, but it's higher on my list. I'll just be real.
Yeah, I can see this one rising for me for sure.
It's a great game. It's a great game. All right, so my number 49 is a game that is new to me this year. It just came out last year, and its predecessor was on my list last year, and this kicked it off. And that is Expedition to Newdale by Alexander Pfister. And I love Oh My Goods quite a bit, and I still really like that game because it's a little engine builder in your pocket, but this just took Oh My Goods to the next level. It's basically Oh My Goods, the board game. You're getting your engine building, you're doing engine building and going out on your board into the different villages and doing different things. It's just a really solid game that Dean has not played.
Yeah.
Is that right, Dean?
Yeah, that's very true. I need to play this one. I think you've talked about this one a lot. I like Oh My Goods. I didn't love it. You liked it a lot better than I did, but I still think I would enjoy having the board aspect of this one.
It's just more open. It's easier to kind of get your engine going. It's not quite as tight as Oh My Goods, and it just adds a couple little layers to it, and it's a nice game. I know the interesting thing is I don't think this got tons of buzz, but I do know like the reviews and a lot of people that I know that have played it really like this. So yeah. I think this could potentially rise over time. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
that's Expedition to Newdale.
Clemens Franz art too, which is maybe not the first time, or maybe not the last time you're going to see that
that's exactly
on
right.
John's list. All right, Expedition to Newdale. Newdale? To Newdale. Is that what it's called? All right, my number 48 is, let's pull this up. Caylus 1303, which is a game that you liked but didn't love.
That's exactly right.
And our buddy Jonathan also liked this one, didn't love it. I love this game a lot.
You love this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's pretty simple worker placement, but you are also building spots around the board, up the road.
And you like that?
Yeah, I think that's really cool that the game changes. Now you have the same tiles that are coming out every game, but the placement of where they are, because that matters in this game.
Yeah.
If it's farther up the road, it's a little riskier when you take the spot, because it's possible that you're going to move the little guy and the horse up, and that's going to take that spot away. So even though you placed a worker, you might not be able to place the action. And so I think that's interesting. I just really like this. I also like the player powers of this one. It's a fun game. Really enjoy this. Glad they redid this one. I had never played the original, so I'm just talking about Caylus 1303.
Yeah, I just thought it was a good midweight Euro, nothing to write home about. Solid. Would I play it? Sure.
Yeah, can be mean.
I won't complain about it, but would I get super jacked and suggest it? Probably not. It can be mean with what's that guy called?
Yeah.
The
Provost. There we go, the Provost. I said the horse guy.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of games where there's like one mean element to it. Where you can just do one thing that's just kind of mean, and the rest of the game's not really that mean. But Anyway, so I don't love
Yeah,
that. But I mean, I guess
its
there is other
purpose-
things that can be mean, because I guess those tiles that you get, someone
Yeah.
could say, "Oh,
You could
should-
steal
You
tiles
can steal
and-
those." So
Mhm.
yeah, okay, but it's still a fine game, though. I mean,
Yeah, a lot of people have this one as their favorite game. You know, people really love this game. I don't know if the ones
I don't
the
know.
diehard ones
I
that
don't know who that is.
I don't know about the diehard ones that have chosen 1303 over the old version. I'm just not sure, but people really love this game.
He's just saying this to try to like support his choice right now.
MeepleTown, tell me if you
Let
love
me tell you.
Caylus.
Let me tell you how many people like what I like my game. All right, so that is your number 47.
Right?
No, it's your number 47.
Sorry, I have my...
You said 3 games so far.
yeah, I have
Right?
to...
Yes, you have.
Okay.
This math is interesting for us at MeepleTown. That's why we're so good at board
50,
games.
49, 48. That was my 48.
Oh, yeah, that's right, math. I forgot it started on a 50.
Sorry, I don't have my list where it says the numbers on here. So
It is 48. He is exactly right, because I actually skipped past my number 48 as well. I was saying number 47. My number 48 is another game that is like Scythe for me, y'all. And for multiple reasons. I'm actually going to pull up where I had it last year. I had this at number 12. And it's 48.
Oh, wow.
And this is the one, Scythe, I was fine with that. This is one where I think I might have been too mean to this game as it dropped. I might have should have, I'm second guessing how I lowered it, but I'm just being real. I looked at, my list is basically what would I rather play than what.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And this is another Jamie Stegmaier game, but again, top 50, so I still love this game. That's Viticulture.
Yeah.
I really like Viticulture. I picked up Tuscany. I've had the Essential Edition for a while. I picked up Tuscany this year and played quite a few times with Tuscany. There's some elements that I really love about it. I always want to play with Tuscany just because it adds several layers, but there's not a lot in that I'm just like, yes, this is amazing. But just some, cool things that add some more thinkiness to it. This is one of my go-to introduction to worker placement games, playing the base game of this for sure. I love the theme of Viticulture. It's cool, making my own wine, got my own winery. I love that aspect of it. Yeah, it's a great solid worker placement game, just one where other ones have kind of surpassed it over time, but it's still a really fun game.
Yeah. Yeah, it has that interesting race mechanism.
I like that race mechanism.
One of the issues that you hear people talk about is, you don't really have to make wine in this game to score points, which is true. Given the right cards, you don't necessarily have to make wine, but there is the new visitors deck that they have that changes some of that up.
Yeah, the best part of Tuscany, I think, too, is the way it's divided into 4 seasons, and there's just more chances if you have that expansion for cards. Some people do complain that it's too lucky. Like if you just get the right cards at the right time, you can just race to the end, and there's some truth to that maybe. But Tuscany stuff, I feel like it's pretty well balanced, so it's good.
Yeah, I like this one too. This one was on my list last year.
It was on your list last year, and it dropped off?
We'll see.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It did drop off a little bit, I believe. I'm not looking at my list right now. I can only see
I'm supposed to be the one that has his list, and I bumbled his list.
Well, you have my 2019 list, and it was on there.
I know what I have.
Yeah.
Don't tell me my business.
I think it was maybe even in the 30s last year. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, not on there this time. One that was not on my list last year is a game that I didn't play this time last year. It is the follow-up game to Champions of Midgard. That is Reavers of Midgard. So this one again
came out 42 for you. Sorry for interrupting.
42. Okay, so it didn't fall too far, and it's probably in that 50, 60 range somewhere.
So
Reavers of Midgard is J.P. Howell. Again, this is a follow-up to Champions of Midgard, and this one is it's super colorful. I'll say that. If you see some pictures here that will pull up. In this game, it is basically...
The contrast is so high on that.
It is, yeah, it is. It's a worker placement game. And one of the interesting pieces, and since I've got a Reaver card shown on there, is the multi-use card of the Reavers. So you can use them for a special ability. You can use them to gain dice. You can use it to gain some other resources on there. And there's only 6 spots, if I remember right, 6 spots on this board that you're using. And
people follow suit, which
and
is
you only have 1 worker, and so like that. Well, in a 2-player game, you're gonna have 2 workers, but normally you're gonna have 1 worker, and it's really interesting. Yeah, I like this game a lot. It's pretty simple. I think it's not like a super complex game, but it's It's good times.
I'd like to play this one again.
Set collection. There's lots of different elements of this game for sure.
Yeah, it definitely beat out Champions for me, but I'm not the biggest Champions of Midgard fan in the world, so I thought this was a superior game. But I haven't played it in months, have we?
Super colorful. Look at all that. It's a lot. If you look at the board, you're like, whoa, what is going on? But there's actually not a lot.
Dean is a man of cheap
on.
thrills. Just give him lots of color and nice components, and he's going to rate your game in his top 50.
That's not true at all.
That is exactly right.
Champions, not champions. Reavers of Midgard.
Reavers of Midgard. All right, my number 47 is another game that is new to my list and from 2019. There's a lot of games from 2019 that made this list. I'm kind of surprised, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of them were kind of at the bottom, I think, but there's a couple that made it pretty high. 2019 was a decent year. So this is a game that I'm surprised made my list, but as I was making the list, I just kept thinking, yeah, I like this better than that. Yes, I like this better than that. That is a Daniele Ticini game, and that is, pull it up, baby, Trismegistus, the ultimate formula. Now, this game is, what is that rated? Weighted at 4? This is a brain burner game. It's a dice drafting game where you're alchemist and you're converting your metals or whatever, and you're searching for the Philosopher's Stone. And it's just a brain-burnery dice drafting goodness for me.
Harry Potter theme.
If I want, you haven't played this and you need to play this. If I want to play a brain-burnery game, this is one of the top ones that I'm going to go to. But the reason it's not higher is because there's sometimes where I'm like, I just want to play a game where I don't have to think so hard. You know?
Sure.
Honestly, that happens a lot for me. Like I want to play a game that's kind of that mid-weight. This is a little bit higher than that, that mid to heavy. But when I want to play a game of this weight, this is really fun. Daniele Ticini is an amazing designer, and I just love this thing. You want to play it, don't you? You would love the board and all the. You like the components. I think you would like it.
Actually, I was just thinking that it's not something I like. Yeah, I don't like the look of this really. That
it looks
much.
Great.
Okay, maybe it does. I just looking at the pictures, it doesn't do it for me. Oftentimes, if somebody starts off describing a game that this is a brain burner, like that is the key element of the description, the first thing that they talk about, it doesn't really appeal to me. Because I don't want a game, if it's heavy, that's fine if it's fun. But if it's heavy for heavy's sake. And
it's not heavy for heavy's sake, and it's actually not that difficult to understand. There's just a lot of things you have to think about when you're like drafting your dice and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not overwhelming to teach either, but you're just like, oh, I've got to think about this or that. And it's one of those games where it's kind of like you're building a ladder, and if you mess up one of the rungs, then you don't get the resources to do what you want to do, and you're like, no. And it can really mess you up. So it's a really fun game.
Yeah, I would check it out, but I'm not like jumping out of my seat to play this game.
Oh, yes, you are.
My number 46, I believe, is where we're at right now because I can't see. Is that right? Yep. Okay, 46 is a game that you will for sure have rated much higher. That is Russian Railroads.
How dare you?
This
top 50s big time.
Yeah, this falls in that Raja the Ganges category. I need to play it more. I really have enjoyed my plays of this one. John, you said that I would like this one. I enjoy games where I enjoy worker placement, and I enjoy games where you're moving up on tracks, and that's what this game is.
You're building the tracks in this game.
Yeah, you're building the tracks, but you're also moving up on these tracks, and I think it's interesting. It didn't draw me in when I heard you talking about it, but then you taught it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I see why people like this.
It's a smooth game. It feels good. It feels like butter. I don't want to talk about it because it's pretty much way higher on the list.
A lot of people really push the expansions in this too. The difficulty is in the U.S. finding this game. I know they're doing a reprint.
Yeah.
In Europe, I think it's the German language version, which this game is language independent, so I might try to snag that at some point when it's reprinted. But yep, that is Russian Railroads. Again, this one could go higher potentially. I just need to play with the expansion stuff and play more.
There you go. All right, my number 46 is a game that the first time I played this game, I texted Dean and Jonathan, our friend, and I said, I don't get the hype. I'm not digging this. And then I played it again, and I'm like, oh, I think that's better than what I gave it credit for. Then I played it again, and I'm like, oh, this is a pretty good game. Then I played it again, and I'm like, this is a really good game. Then I played it.
Okay.
You get the picture. I think you get the picture. And that is La Granja. This is Michael Keller and Andreas Odenhall. And in this game, man, it just feels like a fun little Feld game. You're getting one of the things I like about this game the most is the card play in this. There's several different things. When you get a card to play, you can add it to your fields. You can make it a card. There's like, what, 4? I'm trying to think through that. 4 different places that you can place your card, which is just really interesting and intriguing. And you have the race element in the market where you're going and selling goods, and the faster that you can get to that, the more points you can get, which is really fun. So it just has a lot of just really cool mechanisms put together, and it was a little fiddly, I felt, the first time I was playing it. There's several phases, and there's a lot of different things that can happen on most phases, like 4 or 5 things. And I remember just being just feeling like, I like the way this is going, but it's fiddly. But after, I think, my 3rd play, I was like, okay, I've got it. And then when I taught it to Dean, after him not having to go through the rule book, he felt, oh, it's not so bad. But I think it was just me wrestling through the rule book and trying to figure it all out.
Yeah. I mean, it's got some meat in fiddling. Maybe not. It does have fiddliness the first time you play it, but it's just because, like you said, understanding how all those pieces work. I really enjoy this one. I think it's a lot of fun. I didn't mention this about Russian Railroads, but also this one. Both of these are available on Board Game Arena.
That's a good point.
So if you want to check these out, I think that's a good place to check them out. And I think both of them have good implementations as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, La Granja is a fun game.
It's great.
My number 45. My number 45 is Champions of Midgard. This is rated higher for me than Reavers of Midgard.
Wow, you're into the 2 out of your 10 here are Midgard games.
I've got other Viking games on my list too. We'll see. This is Ole Steinus, and this one came out in 2015, and this one is also worker placement. And it's dice rolling, where you are rolling dice to battle against these different monsters, trolls that are coming to attack. You're getting out in your Viking ships and traveling overseas to defeat other monsters. But the main mechanism of this game is that you're gathering up these different, the axemen, the swordsmen, and the I forgot what the other one was. The
Spears?
Spears. I don't know if I said that.
Spearmen?
Yeah, the spearmen. You are gathering up those dice, and they are used to battle different monsters. When you get them, you're going to take them into battle, and you have to decide how many you're going to take, but you might not need that many. So it's the kind of push your luck mechanism there. Roll the dice, defeat them. Now, what really makes this game shine is with the expansion material. Specifically Valhalla, that as you, even if the dice don't pan out the way that you want them to, you'll still be able to get these chits of the different types of dice that will help you out.
It helps the game so much.
It definitely does.
Okay.
So playing with the expansion is the way to go on this one.
Valhalla changes everything.
It does. The base game is fine, and the other expansion I think is a lot of fun too. The base game is fun, but it wouldn't have made this list without those expansions for sure.
Yeah, I think it's fun with Valhalla. Without it, it's just a mediocre game for me, kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's Anyways, it's fun though. Cool. All right, so that's your number 45. My number 45 is a game where you are sending out workers and they're riding giant gears. And it's Aztec, and it's rated really high overall. What is it rated overall? 38. That's Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar. Now, there's a game further up my list that almost knocked this off my list, MeepleTown, simply because I almost always would rather play it. I'm looking up last year. This game was number 19 for me, and it's dropped to 45. And again, it's simply because a game that came out the following year, they've crossed. And now one has risen higher.
Like Granja and the Ganges.
How about that? But Tzolk'in the Mayan calendar is still a really, really good game. Definitely a thinky game. You've got to take your workers all off or all on, or put them all on, so you have to be very thinky-aheady.
Thinky-aheady.
Yeah. And that's what you got to do, and it is a hoot.
Yeah.
I don't know if a hoot
Another Daniele Tassini game for... Right?
He's moving, that's Simone Luciani and Daniele Tassini together, right?
That's right, yeah.
I think. Look it up. You have to verify it.
No, I did.
It is, okay.
It is, yeah.
I thought it was them two together.
Yeah, that's a good game. I like this one.
Oh, kick the table.
Not as much as you do for sure. I definitely like this one better than the other one that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But, this is fun.
Wrong.
All right, my number 44, I think that's right, is another Stefan Feld game. One that I like quite a bit. One that is mine and my wife's usually our go-to Feld if we're going to play a Feld is
I
Bruges.
approve of this choice.
This is Bruges. This one is going to be remade by Queen Games as Hamburg, and that will also include the different expansion materials.
You just made me hungry.
But I like this one. It is your playing cards. The base mechanism of this is the card playing, and you have different options, right? You have different
lots of options on the cards.
Different options,
like 6 options maybe or something. It's a lot.
And this one is like the game I just mentioned, Champions of Midgard. That I think the base game is fine.
I was like, what are you talking about?
No, not the gameplay. With the expansion. So with this game, the base game is fine, but get the expansion, City-Ends win, and that's what really, really makes this game shine, I think, because with the canals that you use in this game, you're building canals as one of the options, and that's not super interesting in the base game, but it is a lot more interesting with the expansion because then you get to get these other abilities, these special boats that come out into play whenever you do that. The art in this game is absolutely beautiful. Michael Menzel art. Love this game.
I was sad to see the new arts on Hamburg.
Yeah, it's just a box, so we don't know what the game itself looks like.
It didn't look bad. It's just this was better, I thought. And I feel like if you're going to come out with a new game, you better have some better art on it.
It's hard though because the art on this is some of the best.
You love it. I like the art on Bruges. I don't love it as much as you do.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right, that's a great choice. I actually tossed around putting that on my list. I like Bruges a lot. Yeah. My number 44, that was Dean's 44, is my favorite gateway game, I think. There you go. And there's reasons why. That's Carcassonne. So Carcassonne is number 44. The reason is because if you get, and I'm saying big box Carcassonne. You see that? Big old juicy box. I like them juicy ones. And the reason is because I can take base game Carcassonne to new folks that come over to my house and we can play and have a good time. However, there's a lot of luck in that game and I would not put it near my top 50. Just to be real, if I was just talking about the base game. But you start adding expansions to Carcassonne and it can get thinky. Like I like how many expansions, not mini expansions, sounds the same. I like how many expansions there are in this game and how you can make it incrementally difficult because of that, right? Or challenging or thinky is the right word. Yeah. So like you can play with the newbies and play the base game. You can throw traders and builders if there's someone that can handle it, some people that can handle a little bit more. You can then throw another expansion on top of that and you can play with 4 or 5 expansions if you want to. And by the time you're doing that, you're thinking.
Yeah.
And this is just an excellent game. Thanks, Klaus Jurgen-Reed.
Yeah, this one is a lot of fun.
Thanks for making this game.
This one is a lot of fun. My wife and I have been playing some of those specialty Carcassonne games like Gold Rush and Hunters and Gatherers, playing some of those. We've enjoyed those quite a bit
Pretty
too.
Fun, huh?
Yeah, they just typically change the rules slightly, but enough to make it interesting, and those are fun. Yeah, I love this game a lot.
I would say the biggest complaint I hear often is that this game is mean. Like people who don't like people getting in on their cities and stuff, and I'm like, that's the whole game. Like, you can't win the game if you don't get in on somebody's city.
Yeah, but you can play this game without being mean. I think that's the beauty of this game. You can throw the cathedrals in when
you do into cathedrals just to try to hose people from getting no points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There are things that you can do, but I don't. There are families I know that say they regularly have people stomping off from the table when they play this game.
Yeah, but I've played this game a lot without that mean element. Just kind of, you can do your own thing if that's your style. That's what I like about this. Yeah. Like, you don't have to be mean if you just want to work on your own city and somebody else can work on their own. I think that's fine. The farmer part can also be mean, but you don't have to.
I think I play the game where you just got to get in whenever you do. I don't purposely be mean, but hey. You know what? You can try to put 2 meeples into your city, so do it.
Yeah.
You know? There you go.
All right, my number 43, I think.
Serious.
I think 43 is where we're at.
That's it.
Is Shadows over Camelot. This is a Bruno Cathala game. John, you and I played this game together, and you really
I enjoyed the game. I wish I could
enjoyed
play
it better than what I thought you would.
Sure, yeah.
So in Shadows over Camelot, you are playing cooperatively to fend off. That's right, to fend off the bad guys from taking over your castle through the catapults, and there's lots of different areas of the game board, and you have to go out and take out these different pieces of the board, the bad guys. But there is a traitor in your midst.
That's right.
And that's what really makes this game shine, because you might do some really good things and people still won't trust that you're a good guy, and they can try to,
and it's fun when that happens,
overthrow you. Yeah, this one's fun. I like this one quite a bit. There's a new implementation of this coming out. Shadows over Brooklyn, I think, is the name of that one. I haven't seen much on that one yet, but apparently it's supposed to be a better version of this when it comes out.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm hyped about that.
Is that an instant buy for you potentially?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while. I don't remember who's publishing this. I don't remember if it's Days of Wonder or not. But anyway, that is Shadows over Camelot. Really, really enjoyed this one.
Was that on your list last year? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a little bit higher last year. I think it was maybe in the 30s.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. 32.
32
last year. Yeah.
Yep. Lots of fun. It's got miniatures too.
All right, so that's your 43. My 43 is probably my favorite pick up and deliver game. It's a tasty minstrel game, Hayashi, and you know what that is.
Yep, Yokohama.
In Yokohama, you're picking up and delivering goodness. That's all I'm going to say. Next one. Now, Yokohama is just, it's an excellent game, man. Every time, it's one of those games, y'all have those games where you don't play it super often, but every time you play it, you're like, why don't I play this game more?
Sure.
This is one of those games for me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, yes, but this was actually on my list last year, and it's not this year. And it's not because I like the game less. It's just because last year I said I've not played this one enough, and I've only played this game one time, and I said this was the only one on my list that I played one time, and since then I've still not played it.
But however, did you buy it?
I do have it coming in with the new Kickstarter.
Did you get the 2-player version too?
Yeah. Ooh, so I'm hyped to play this one. To play it more, and I think this one probably will make it back to my list if I had to guess, but I just need to play it.
There's a lot of nice variability in the way that the tiles come out and stuff in this game. So games feel different. You're constantly planning, okay, I've got to go here, and then I'm moving over here. And there's just it's a lot of fun. It's a really good, really solid game. Probably my favorite tasty minstrel game. So there you go.
Yep. Now, I will say this real fast before we move on. If you're looking at this game board and you think, oh, that's intimidating, because I would say out of any of the games that we're talking about, this might look the most intimidating.
It's not.
It's not. No, it's not a heavy game at all, but learning the symbols can seem intimidating, but it's really not. Fun game.
I like it. That's my number 43. You're number 42.
42
I'm teeing you up this time.
So
every single time you said, I think this is number 44. I think this is number 43.
My number 42 is the game that was just ahead of Shadows over Camelot last year. Camelot. The same type of game. This is also a Betrayer game, Dead of Winter, a Crossroads game, which I quite enjoy this one. This is one of our go-to Halloween games that we like to play, along with like Mansions of Madness and some other ones like that. This game, you are going around, you have this colony, and you're all kind of hanging out in the colony, and these zombies are trying to get you, and you have these different objectives that you're trying to complete. You also have your own personal objectives that you're trying to complete, which makes this even more interesting, and some of that might be things that are going to hurt other people. Or it might not make sense. Why would they go out and try to do this thing? You know, and so because you're trying to complete your own objective, people might think, oh, this is a betrayer because they're doing something that doesn't quite make sense. And the tension of this one is, for me, ramped up a notch than what Shadows over Camelot is, but it's still that same style of game. This game is a blast. It's a lot of fun. I think you would like this one. I think you'd like this one better than Shadows over Camelot too.
Yeah, I like to play that. Sounds fun. Sounds good. All right, that is your number 42. My number 42 is a game this is another one that was pretty high on my list last year. Let's see what it was last year, 13. But, I mean, it's dropped to 42, so, I mean, that's not, whatever. It's still a really, really good game. It's a classic game. It's a freedom and freeze game. It is Power Grid.
Was that your cue?
That was my cue. What is this ranked overall? 36 overall.
36 overall.
This game is all about buying things at the right prices, getting your factories. There you go. Getting your factories at the right time. It's not factories. I play this game so much. I mean,
your generators,
whatever, power plants.
Yep.
Oh my god, it's called Power Grid. Come on, John. Anyway, I play this game so many times, but that and getting the resources at the right price and not paying too much. And this game is, you're in each other's heads when you're playing this game. You're like, oh man, is Dean going to bid this? I don't know. And then you're just like, I want to bid this. And then you overbid for something and it really ends up costing you because you spent too much money for a particular plant. And yeah, this is a really, really fun game. It slipped a little bit for me because I've played it this year several times. And I was like, I mean, dude, 42 overall is a really high game, but didn't give me quite the feels that it used to, even though I still really like Power Grid.
Yeah, Power Grid's a lot of fun. I enjoy the gameplay of this. I will say, this is a game I haven't played a ton, but when I've played it, it seems like you know pretty early on who is going to be the winner, and it's really difficult, if not impossible, to come back.
It can be hard.
Those were my thoughts on it, but I know people that play this game a lot might feel a lot different.
Well, I do think in this game you have to have players of similar experience.
Yeah.
I think if you have, like, I've played this, even this year, with someone who had only played it one other time before, and he just did terrible. We just destroyed him because he just didn't, and he couldn't remember it had been like a year or two since he had played it the first time, and it just, anyways.
And poor decisions early on in this game.
It hurts.
Will destroy.
He started figuring it out, but he was picking it back up, but he was already so low or behind, it was really tough, as Dean said, to catch up, which I do think is somewhat of a knock, I think. But if you're playing with similar levels of experience, the game will be, scoring-wise, extremely tight and tiebreakers all day long.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
my number 41 is a good hoot and holler game.
This is the last one for this episode,
That's right. This is the last one. Sheriff of Nottingham, that came out in 2014. This was actually a re-implementation of Robin Hood. And this has been since reprinted.
Why did they choose to change it to Sheriff of Nottingham instead of Robin Hood?
Because it makes a lot more sense. You're trying to sneak goods past the Sheriff of Nottingham. Like, it much better describes
But if you're Robin Hood...
Yes, you can be Robin Hood. That's right. But there's lots of different characters in this game. So, anyway, in this game,
check my nostrils.
You each have your own bag, and you have cards. And what you're trying to do is get cards. You're getting cards into Nottingham, but you have to get them past the sheriff. And you can tell the sheriff, "Hey, sheriff, I'm bringing in 5 chickens."
Nottingham, and that's what the sheriff says, and slams the table. You're Nottingham bringing that into this place. That's what I say when I play this game.
Anywho, and he can say, "Yeah, all right, go on through." And then you can sneak in some contraband in there, and he'll never know, and you'll get lots of points for the contraband because it's worth a lot of points. All right? Or he can say, "Nope, I'm opening up your bag," and he opens up your bag, and you have 5 chickens in there, and he owes you money now because he called your bluff. This game is a blast. It's so much fun, so much like hooting and hollering and laughing, guffawing, as it were.
I haven't played this game in a long time. Probably since fairly quickly after it came out. I enjoyed it, but I didn't get the feels that Dean gets.
It's so fun.
The biggest problem is that this game is based in a town that hates pigs. Because it's called Nottingham. All right, so my number 41.
That was my number 41.
My number 41 is another new game. Dang, everyone's going to be like, "Dude, why are you hype on these new games?" I've
got some new ones on mine.
I didn't realize I had that many games from 2019 that made this list. And again, these aren't like the highest ones, but there's, I think, valid reasons for all of them, I think. This one is a game that took Targi off my list, which is still a game that I really enjoy. I just wanted to have on my list because it's my list. My favorite 2-player only game. And this is not my new favorite. My new favorite 2-player only game. That is Foothills. And that is Ben Bateson, Tony Boydell. It's basically Snowdonia 2-player only. But what I really love about this game is the actions and the way they play. You have a set of 5 cards, and you do the action and then flip the card over to another side. And it's going to be, after your front side is generally a better action, so you're going to flip it over to the back side in order to get it back to the front. There's other ways to do it, but you're often going to have to play that maybe lesser action. So you're constantly trying to figure out, okay, when do I need to play this? Oh man, I don't really want to do this now, but I really need that other action to build a building, a station, so I'm going to have to flip that back over. Or is there another way I can figure out a way to do that? Dean, I think you would really like this game since you're a pretty big Snowdonia fan.
Yeah.
This is better than base game Snowdonia in my opinion. This is a great 2-player.
That's really high praise.
Yeah, it's a great game.
I'm sure you've said that before. That's the first time I remember you saying that. And that gets me excited because Snowdonia for sure will be on my list. I love Snowdonia.
I'm saying base game Snowdonia, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but base game Snowdonia is a lot of fun.
I know it is.
It's a blast. I could just have that and be okay. Is it better than Alibari?
It made the list and Alibari didn't.
Wow. Okay.
But primarily because it's my favorite 2-player only game. So it kind of has that little niche that I'm like, that's what it is. So there you go.
That's great.
High praises for my last one of
Yeah,
today.
I want to check that one out now. That maybe that'll be on my list next year.
I showed Johnny Boy and he really quite enjoyed it.
Yep, you're Johnny Boy. You play solo?
I am.
Okay.
No.
All right, that is it for our first 10. Let's tell people how they can get in touch with us and look forward to our next 10.
That's it. If you're enjoying our channel and want to be reminded that when the next 10 come out, just click subscribe, click the little bell for notifications. If you go to MeepleTownGames.com, you can check out all of our stuff. We're MeepleTown for our podcast on not Instagram, on Google Play and all that kind of stuff. iTunes is what I'm trying to think. We're at MeepleTown Games on all the other stuff like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at MeepleTown Games and connect with us on the MeepleTown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to MeepleTown.